Hi, I'm Dan Leonard in the East.
And I'm George Whittam in the West.
And together we are East-West Audio Body Shop. Well, you know, the daylilies are starting to bloom and winter's just around the corner. But right now we're in the dawn days of summer and we want to have a great show for you. And we've started off this coming week with a great guest. Guy's been with us before, but he's added some new features to his program, VoiceZam, Bob Merkel. And we'll talk all about how to really help out your demos on your website.
I'll have a Whittam's World this week, and the topic is going to be microphones. I answered a whole slew of questions on microphones, so it's like a variety grab bag of things, something for everyone.
And again, we want to find out what it is you guys want as we go through summer here, and we want your suggestions. And I'm going to talk a little bit about how we're going to make this program yours as we go along. That's East-West Audio Body Shop, Monday night, 9 o'clock in the East.
And 6 o'clock in the West.
And join us in the chat room. We'll see you all there.
He's the home voiceover studio engineer to the stars in Los Angeles, California. A Virginia Tech grad whose knowledge of the latest recording gear is second to none. He's a voice actor and the home studio master, hailing from Buffalo, New York. His home studio skills and knowledge of voiceover recording is unmatched. When Dan and George talk shop, people listen, and the talk continues tonight. Welcome to East-West Audio Body Shop. And now, live from his high-tech facility in Santa Monica and his penthouse studio in Buffalo, here are George Whittam and Dan Leonard.
Good evening. I'm Dan Leonard in the East.
And I'm George Whittam in the West.
And together we are East-West Audio Body Shop. All righty. Well, midsummer now here at the body shop, and boy, it's been warm and it's been wild weather here in the East. What's it like out west? Sunny and warm, right?
Yeah, today was a little overcast, a little chilly, around 68 or something. No,
68.
It's been pretty darn awesome, I have to say. Yeah. And we've spent a lot of time outside lately, but that's what you do when you're here. We do a lot of staycations. Let me just say, we do a lot of staycations here.
Staycation.
Yeah.
Well, you Crepes, you're 2 blocks from the beach, for crying out loud.
You don't even want to go 5 miles to the beach on the weekend because it'll take you 40 minutes to go 5 miles. So you just stay right here.
That's right. You just go around the block and walk across Main Street, and there you are.
Exactly. And we met a neighbor who lives on my street, 2 blocks down, named George, who has a swimming pool at his condo.
Oh,
so now we're
he's your best friend now.
And he's really nice. He's like, bring the kids over. He's got 2 kids that he has on the weekends, and it's awesome.
Oh, all right. Well, I'm going to be down your way in 2 weeks for 2 weeks, maybe even for the whole month of August, because I got lots of stuff I got to do. And so we'll be getting together. We'll be doing the show together, something we get to do rarely, but it's always a lot of fun.
Yep.
And
I haven't even figured out if we're going to do it live or to tape like we did last time. Probably to tape, I guess, huh?
Maybe, depending on when we do it.
We know how it goes live. When we do live on the road, it's always talk about Apollo 13, man.
Oh, hey, that's Apollo 1.
Actually, we should just change it to Gravity.
Gravity.
I saw that the other night, man. Whoa.
Oh, great film, isn't it?
Whew. Watched it on HBO, man. Man, unbelievable.
The beginning of that is really something. Anyway, we'd like to thank our sponsors, of course, the amazing Harlan Hogan, VoiceOver Extra, and your employers, Edge Studio.
Yep.
Now, everywhere there is audio, you have Edge Studio. Our guest tonight is Bob Merkel from VoiceZam, and he's going to be joining us in a little bit, and we'll talk about some of the new things that he's got going on in VoiceZam. And we've got a Whittam's World coming up in a little bit. You're going to tackle some mic questions, I guess. Thousands and thousands of mic questions.
Yep.
And tonight, George and I really wanted to address you, our audience, all 28 of you right now. I mean, usually I guess it's midsummer. It's a little small in the audience tonight.
Yeah, I mean, it's a beautiful night. It's still sunny out here. A lot of people are outside, and
That's right. Well, who wants to watch us?
Yeah.
Everybody.
I know Ed doesn't. Ed VO just left the conversation in the chat room, so he's probably
we'll see. He's like, I'm going to go on. So anyway, George and I have been. This is, believe it or not, and I decided tonight would be a good night to throw this out there. This is our 150th episode, if you can believe that. 150 episodes since we started this March 22nd, 2011. And we've talked about, you figure the voiceover world, there's performance, and then there's technology, and there's just so much you can talk about. Somehow, we've been able to hang this thing together for 150 episodes and keep it fresh every night and make sure that you guys are getting the information you need. But I guess one way to find out what information you guys need is to hear from you. What information do you need? Now, we used to have some great features that we used to do that we stopped doing just because, I don't know, why did we stop doing them?
Like what?
I'm not exactly sure. Well, first there was bad audio of the week.
Oh, right.
Which everybody loved. But then the reason we stopped is because nobody would send us anything.
Right. That's a bit of a problem when people just don't want to have their bad audio shared on the show.
That's right.
It kind of slows things down. Yeah,
it does. But I mean, some of those were really bad.
Yeah.
But that was fun. And, but because we were looking for silly stuff as opposed to that's a technical problem we really need to think about or really need to talk about.
Right.
So if somebody has, like, say, an issue with their audio, send them in, because we'll show you how George and I figure this stuff out, looking at spectrograms and the waveforms, and because the two of us can look at something and hear it, and we know exactly what's going on. And you got a bad cable. There's the acoustics in the room aren't right, because a lot of you have sent us audio through our Dropboxes, and we say, oh, it's this, oh, it's that, and we're always right, always.
And if one of us isn't right or doesn't think we're right, we ask the other one, so we bounce off each other anyway.
So you're 100% guaranteed that we're going to figure out what it is, and it's usually something simple,
like that chime would tell you.
Yes.
Super simple, like turning down your phone when you do a live show on the internet. But yeah, we love to. It would be fun to do, basically show you guys what it is that we listen for and what we do live. And bring that back as a regular segment. So if you want to send them in, maybe
we won't call it bad audio of the week. We'll call it troubled audio of the week.
Yeah, or maybe let's see what's in the specimen cup.
Let's see what's in. Oh, I like that.
Yeah, let's check Let's check Dan's specimen cup this week. Yeah, maybe we'll do that.
All right.
Of course, we'll make sure it's authorized by the.
Yes, we will say, yes. Can we use this on the show?
Yes, we'll do that.
But we won't say. We'll cut out if there's any name slates are in there.
Yeah, we'll keep it anonymous. Yeah, that'd be fun. Let's check the specimen cup. And that's a good idea. But also, we were just saying before the show that because our show is really one of the very few that truly is live, and is obviously, because it's live, it's extremely current and to the moment, that we'd love to feature more breaking news and more what's going on today or this week or last week. So, if you guys have ideas of the kind of content you'd kind of like to know about in that regard too, not just about tech and studios and computers, we'd love to start bringing a little bit more of that to you guys too. But that takes work. It takes people to send in or bring content to our attention, aka writers or producers. So we could use your help with that as well. But I'd love to see the show kind of go in that direction, because 150 shows in, you start repeating yourself
just a bit.
A little bit.
I'm trying to figure out how many times I've said "roll that beautiful bean footage,"
right?
Or some of the other things that we repeat. But then again, there's always new people coming in to watch the show, and we don't want them to miss anything.
Yeah.
Now, of course, you can go back onto YouTube and watch 150 episodes of this, and we know for a fact that there are people doing this. They write to us. I'm up to episode 79. I'm going to catch up eventually.
Wow.
Okay.
Impressive.
Yes. Somebody needs a life.
Well, but another option is, if you don't want to watch every show, if you don't have time for that, because we are chronicling the show notes so well because of our help from Jack DeGolia. Yeah. Man, he has really made it easier to find notes about the show and see what's in each episode. So, and they're all indexed by time, so you can just click on a time and it'll jump to the video. So.
Absolutely.
It's easy to find stuff, but yeah.
Yeah, well, it looks like we have a few fresh faces in the chat room. So if you guys have any ideas, throw them in there, and Anthony will jot them down for us. Mm-hmm. Right, Anthony? Good.
Yes, Anthony.
Anthony Getting, our chat room monitor. Mm-hmm. He will slap your wrist if you are not behaving. So what were some of the other things we used to do? Of course, there was when we first started, there were the calls. We would get people to call in.
Live call-ins. That was another fun thing. Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Yes, I remember Chris Metzelesta called the first night, and the first thing he said is this Joe's Pizza? So perhaps he wasn't the best choice for the first night.
No, the live call-ins were fun. It added a whole nother level of complexity to the production for me.
Right.
But I didn't mind it. It just made it more exciting for me. And I think I would love to bring that aspect back to the show, So maybe we start taking submissions, the day of or the day before. And if someone wants to have their question answered live on the show, we could do that as well. I'm all for that.
Well, because now we're using Zoom. It makes it
much
a lot easier. I mean, what do we have? We had 18 people at once in the room last week, and it was flawless.
Yeah.
So, are you guys enjoying the roundtables that we've been doing? Because we want to continue to do that because we've got a great one coming up next week.
Yeah, give us feedback on our Facebook wall or in the Facebook group or email or whatever. Let us know how you feel about the content we've been putting out there and if these roundtables are helping you. I think they're one of the most, to me now, they're almost probably one of my most favorite parts of the show that we do is these roundtables. We get to bring in all these different guests simultaneously.
Right. I mean, there was the one we did with all the voice acting coaches who were putting me through my paces on this one read, and they're all giving me opposite direction. That was a classic moment. That was. We'll save that one for the highlight reel this year.
No, that was great.
And next week should we tell them what we're doing next week? We'll remind them at the end of the show.
Yeah.
Next week we haven't exactly decided what we're calling it, but I'm calling it the Demo Derby. Demo Derby.
Demo Derby.
Demo Derby. The Demo Demolition Derby. We're not going to critique people's demos for their ability to communicate effectively with the spoken word, but how to communicate effectively with their rig and what is the quality of the audio coming out of their demo?
Yeah, the production itself.
Yes, and I believe that Clifford and Uncle Roy are going to be joining us for that. That ought to be nothing but hysterical. Anyway, so if you've got any ideas, if there's something specifically you'd like, of course, write to us at ewabshop@gmail.com. Why don't you put that up there, right, like underneath me here?
Yeah, sure.
ewabshop@gmail.com.
Not that.
Actually, it would go that way. And that way we can find out what you guys want to see, and that will help us make this show what you want it to be, because we do it for you. If we did it for ourselves, we're like, well, now what are we going to talk about?
Yeah, exactly.
Let's see. And if you've got, we will. Why don't we just put the specimen cup on the Wix page too?
All right.
On the EWABS on the page you're watching the show on right now, we will have the specimen cup on there. And if you want to allow us to troubleshoot or analyze your audio on the air or over the internet or whatever it is we're doing here, what do we call this?
Well, we need a special specimen cup just for the show, right?
Right. Yeah, we'll put it up. We'll put it on here. Not the one that's on my site. No.
Yeah.
No,
we'll make a new one.
We'll make a new specimen cup that'll be even funnier, and we'll have that on this page. And if you want to have your audio analyzed on the air by George and I, put it in that cup.
Constructive criticism.
Constructive, but not performance-wise. Strictly technical.
Yeah, strictly technical.
That's right. Mm-hmm. I mean, sometimes we can get a little bit of that when we talk personally and stuff, but this will be totally technical.
Yep.
All right. It is 9:15 here in the East, 6:15 in the West. In Newfoundland, it's now 10:37 or something like that. And we're going to take a break. And George has a Whitham's World coming up. And then Bob Merkel will be joining us talking about VoiceZam here at East West Audio Body Shop. So don't go away. We'll be right back.
And now, back to East West Audio Body Shop, where every week it's Apollo 13.
But not this week, although the internet is acting awfully strange tonight. We're not exactly sure what's going on.
So far, so good.
So far, with Zoom, it's been flawless.
Yeah, it's working well.
Yeah. So anyway, how long is this Woodham's World?
It's about 10 minutes long. And
well, in that case, why don't we get into it? And you're taking a bunch of questions about microphones, so pay attention. George is going to tell you like it truly is.
Here you go. Hey everybody, it's George Woodham reporting for Woodham's World. Did you miss me? Sorry it's been so long since I've had a regular episode, and there's been a lot going on and a lot of traveling and events, so I figured I would take a little break from the regular occurrences of the show. So let's dig right in and let's make this a really meaty one. These questions don't need very long answers, so let's see how many I can get through in about under 10 minutes. Steve Marvel asks, I'm using Audacity to record on a Windows 7 laptop and experience a persistent background hiss during recording. I'm using an AT2020 USB mic and therefore no other hardware. The hiss is present even with the mic unplugged and regardless of whether the laptop is plugged in to a wall outlet or running on batteries. Oh man, based on that information, if that noise is the same whether the mic's plugged in or not, I'm having a pretty strong feeling that you're using the wrong input in Audacity. It sounds like you might be recording from your laptop's built-in microphone. That would explain a high level of hiss and the fact that the hiss doesn't change whether the mic's plugged in or not. Test out my theory, Steve. It's been a long time since you've asked this question, so hopefully by now you've solved it, but it's a common problem that people mistakenly record the wrong source in their software. So double check your settings, triple check your settings, and every time you hit record, scratch the mic grill so that when you see the meters jumping up and down and you see the waveform going crazy, you know you're using the right microphone. Bob Schmidt asks, I'm currently using an Audio-Technica 2020 USB microphone in my home studio. Oh, there's a theme here. A little birdie told me that Santa Claus may be bringing me a Neumann TLM 103 microphone. What mic preamp and sound card do you recommend to use with the Neumann? If you haven't bought one or you're still thinking of upgrading, there's a few that I really like that are in the affordable category for sure. Let's say in the under $500 and under category, there's a couple of nice choices such as the Gap 73 and there's the Warm Audio WA12. And then hovering in around 500, there's the Grace, actually the M101 it is that I like. And there's also the True Precision P Solo. So there's a few options in the affordable category. And at the higher end category, go for a John Hardy. The John Hardy preamps are pristine and have a really cool sound and great pieces of equipment. Next up, John Barnier, or John Barnier, says, is there a functional difference between the M-Track Plus and the M-Box Mini? I use an M-Track Plus and plug in my headphones to listen while recording, but for playback I can't hear it in the M-Track and have to plug it into the computer to hear the playback. Would the M-Box Mini allow me to record and listen to playback without all that switching? And just about any audio interface that plugs in with USB that has a headphone jack should allow you to monitor audio while recording and also listen to playback. So either there's a knob on the front of the unit that's setting correctly, such as a monitor mixed knob. If it's turned all the way left, you're only going to hear what you're recording, the microphone live. And if it's all the way right, you're only going to hear the playback. So maybe that's set wrong. But unless something's wrong with the unit, it might be just a setting that might be wrong. And the M-Box Mini is really not going to be any different. It's going to have the same functionality, and it's probably not going to sound any different. So maybe check to see if it's set correctly first before you go buying another piece of equipment. Robert Crago says, I have been using the Electro Voice RE20 mic for about 8 years for VO, and it seems to be doing a great job, but I am reading a lot of reviews on other recommended mics, and the RE20 is never mentioned. What are your thoughts about this mic? Well, it's a great broadcast microphone. It was designed for taking high SPL, in other words, high volume, and being used with your lips practically touching the grill of the microphone. It's kind of made to be idiot-proof so that a DJ, jock, radio could just shove it in front of their face and talk into it and get reasonably decent sound. But for the needs of a voice actor who needs something that's going to reproduce their voice faithfully, accurately, and have a lot of sensitivity for working at, with softer reeds without a tremendous amount of noise floor, not the best microphone for that job. So that's probably why you're not seeing a whole lot of people out there talking about this mic in the context of voice acting, because they do reject so much background noise or so much noise from behind because of its design. And so if you're in a less than perfect room or you have a lot of outside noise, it might be a mic that you could try. But at that price point, there's a lot of other options that, you might consider as well. Cassandra of Lady Slava says, I'm trying to treat my room/home studio. I think the space I have to work with is less than ideal, though. The room my computer is in opens up to my kitchen on one side and into the hallway, foyer, living room on the other, and there's no doors. I'm not sure the exact measurements of the room, but it's pretty decent size. Do you have any advice on working with such a space? Well, is your room quiet enough? I guess that would be my first question to ask. There's nothing you can do to make a large open room, open floor plan home quiet unless you just live in a very, very quiet location. So that's going to be your first challenge. Is it quiet enough of the time to record in there? If you can find enough quiet time, well, yeah, you can make any space sound good with the right amount of acoustical treatment. Start off by using some moving blankets. They're incredibly effective. Create a tent all around the microphone and yourself. Give yourself a nice 3 by 3 foot space so you have some room to move, maybe 4 by 4 feet, and drape it with moving blankets all around you using movable screens, or make a frame out of pipe or wood, and you'd be amazed how great that could sound. You could also check out Dan Leonard's VOstudiosuit.com. The materials are very inexpensive for the performance that you get out of them, and they're very easy to set up. So yeah, you'd be able to make that room sound pretty good. It's just a matter of, is it quiet enough? This one's kind of long. I'm going to skim through it, but it's from Jeffrey Garland, and he said, I heard that you mentioned that you'd be doing a show on this soon, so maybe this question's a little late, but I wanted to ask you 2 specific mics, the Blue Spark Digital and the Blue Bluebird. He wants to know how it compares to the next mics up, like the Bluebird or the Baby Bottle. Everything has to do with the complements of the voice. That is absolutely true. But setting this crucial element aside for a moment, do you have any preliminary thoughts on these 2 pieces of equipment? The Bluebird's not USB, so I'd use a Blue Icicle. Do you see any distinct advantage of using a large diaphragm condenser over a smaller one? So these 2 microphones have slightly different designs, but inherently they're relatively similar. They both have a medium-ish to largish size diaphragm. The Blue Spark Digital mic's diaphragm is a little bit smaller. In general, smaller diaphragm mics tend to have a little bit higher noise floor or self-noise, so they're a little bit noisier, but not very much. And in a home studio environment, you're probably not going to hear the difference in the noise floor. So it really comes down to price and convenience. The Spark Digital is a really appealing mic because of its price point. First of all, around $200. And it's got a headphone jack, so you can monitor yourself in real time with no latency if you find that to be important. I find it to be pretty helpful sometimes. If you go with the mics up from there and go with a Blue Icicle preamp, the little USB adapter, you're going to get great sound quality, of course, but you won't have that headphone jack for zero latency monitoring. So, you have to choose your poison there and decide which is the most important for you. They're both going to have great results. I think you're just going to have to try them out and see which works well for you. But why not start out with the Spark Digital if you haven't already? One last one from Liz Harris. I use my walk-in closet for recording, and although it's a nice size, the microphone boom arm takes up a good deal of space, and it can be awkward to position the mic. I've been looking for a wall-mounted arm, but haven't been able to find one. Is there one which you would recommend? Absolutely. In fact, I've got one, although it's not sitting in this room, but I'll bring it up here on the screen so you guys can see it. The arm that I'm using right here, there's a lot of spring-loaded and different types of desk mount type arms that usually are designed to clamp to the edge of the desk. But the key is to find a wall bracket that you can mount it to. And Heil Engineering, Heil Microphones, H-E-I-L, they make a wall bracket. So you can buy that wall bracket and use their brand of mic arms or just about any other company's mic boom arms
and stick it in the wall bracket, and you're good to go. And I love using them in small spaces. They're so much easier to deal with. All right, well, that was a marathon. If you have any questions you'd like to have answered on another episode of Whittam's World, please do send them in to whittamsworld@edgestudio.com, and I'll be glad to give you an answer on the show. If you'd like to get more immediate attention or one-on-one attention for your problem, then I'm certainly available for support. You can go to vostudiotech.com. You can click the Get Support Now button, or you can go to the Services menu and see what I have available for you in there. Thanks again for watching, and I'll see you again on another episode of Whittam's World.
Yeah, so I mean, there was a lot of topics I wanted to cover in that one, so I hope there was a little bit of something for everybody in there. But in the chat room, Diana Birdsall, she was actually one of the people that was in the Hangout last week, and she was talking about her mic and some of the issues she was having. But she sent me in a sample. The noise floor was really high on the 416, and it's interesting because sometimes noise can be disguised. You can think it's one thing, and it might be something else. If you only have one microphone, even if you don't buy another of the same one, get a second mic. If anything, just for the purposes of troubleshooting. You can buy, I
got a drawer full of them.
I know. Get a condenser mic, like an AT2020, some basic, inexpensive, but decent mic that you can swap out. Because one of the hardest things about troubleshooting when something's wrong is when you have nothing that you can swap out. Troubleshooting is all about a process of elimination. So if you don't have another mic you can try, it's very hard to determine if it's the mic that's the problem. Mic cables are cheap enough, you can buy another cable, but have another spare mic, a backup mic, a stunt mic, whatever you want to call it, because Diana swapped out her 416 for a Blue Spark or something like that, a much less expensive mic, and the noise issues and everything she was experiencing just went away. So you never know. Don't assume it's not the mic. Sometimes it is the mic. It usually isn't, but it can be the mic that's malfunctioning. So having that is nice.
If you've got a noise floor on a 416, then then it's probably the mic, because that thing is so good at really, being so directional. It cuts the side noise so well.
Yeah, I mean, if you then swap another mic in, and that other mic is lower noise and picks up less background noise, there's probably something wrong with the 416. So. It can be a shame. Yeah. I mean, you may be lucky. It may be a relatively cheap fix. It could be something like a loose wire. It could be a loose contact or something inside the mic. So,
that's true.
But have a spare, or just at least have some friends that you can borrow a mic from. It helps.
Yeah, that helps if you're in a bigger market where there's a lot of people who do voiceover, as opposed to the 5 people here in Buffalo. But we're all really tight. We get together for coffee once every month.
Sure.
But, there's always somebody who has an extra, maybe you're having a trouble with your interface or with your mic. That's always the best place to find out. Or just call one of us.
Yep, drop it in the specimen cup. That's what we're here for.
That's why it's here. All righty. Well, enough on microphones for the time being. Bob Merkel will be joining us in just a minute or 4 here. And if you've got questions for him, and if you're familiar with VoiceZam, let us know. Just join us in the chat room. If you don't know how to get into the chat room, because there are more people watching the show than are in the chat room, and we can handle more people in the chat room, which will be pretty nutty. Just if you're watching the show on EWABS.com, we see where it says chat now, just click on that.
Yeah, and if you're watching on Ustream on a tablet, sorry. There's no way to do the chat room yet at the same time.
There must be a lot of people watching it on tablets.
Yeah, probably. Then you have to have another tablet. There's a reason to go buy a second tablet.
That's right.
One for the chat room, one for the show.
Makes total sense to me. Do it on your iPhone. All righty. Bob Merkel coming up in just a minute here on East West Audio Body Shop. Time for a little quick break, and we'll be right back.
VO Studio Tech. Recording made simple.
Hi, I'm Peter McHugh.
This is Jim Tasker from Los Angeles, California.
Hi, this is Bill Ratner in Los Angeles.
Hi, this is Scott Rummel here in Yorba Linda, California.
Hi, my name is Rick Wasserman.
Hi, this is Tom Kane.
Hi, my name is Vanessa Marshall.
Hi, my name is Zurich.
Hi, I'm Mary McKittrick.
Randy Thomas chiming in.
Hi, this is Joe Szymanski.
Hey, this is Rick Robles.
Hi, my name is John Patrick Armstrong.
I was turned on to George by none other than Don LaFontaine, who always swore by his health.
George is absolutely awesome.
ISDN, Source Connect, Phone Patch, FTP, you name it, George has set it up.
It's really the best thing I've ever done for myself. I feel free, safe, fearless, like anything is possible in here.
Unless you like to look for opportunities to waste time, call George.
And he did all of that, long distance over the phone and the internet.
I'm very happy with George, and I cherish him.
Thanks, George. You make it easy.
And now back to the only webcast done with 2 cans, 2 geeks, and a string. East West Audio Body Shop, with George Whittam on his end in the West and Dan Leonard in the East.
For the time being. Anyway, we're back here at East West Audio Body Shop, and lots of good information coming out tonight, and a little bit of technical stuff tonight, but it's important for your voiceover business because how you present yourself on your website is important. If you don't have a website, 1, you're not a voice actor. 2, if you don't have a good website, you need to change that. Make sure you have a good website that's simple to operate, and make sure that you get across to your people that you want to understand what it is you do and how you do it as easy as possible. And one way to do that is with a great product that came out a couple of years ago called VoiceZam, and we have its creator, and it's Lord and Master. Bob Merkel joins us from Milwaukee, Wisconsin tonight. Good evening, Bob.
Hey, guys. How you doing? I should be looking down like this on you. I guess lording it down.
That's okay.
Or not.
Or not.
Great to be with you.
It's a pleasure to have you on again. Now, we had you on about a year ago when you first came out with VoiceZam, and you had the basic program, but there's been some improvements to it. But first, let's talk a little bit about what is the philosophy behind this particular program, and how does somebody use it?
VoiceZam is a completely new way to market your demo. It's more than just a demo player, and I won't go into all of it tonight, but if you go to voicezam.com, you can see some of the background on it. There's some tutorial videos that will teach you about it. And it's a way that you take the traditional demo, which is a single, I call it single track, but George, you might call it something different. It has multiple little playbacks in it, multiple voicings.
Just different selections.
Different cues. Selections of your voice, cues. Right. Cues or tracks or reads, or there's all sorts of snippets or clips. Everybody has their own way of presenting what they do in there. And so since the days of reel to reel, it's always been done the same way. It's just one clip after another presented in a linear fashion. And what you do is you send that out, and the producer or whoever is doing casting listens to your demo, and they listen to the first track and the second one. They have to wait, and waiting is bad. And this was something I ran into a few years back, many years back now. It hasn't really changed. You wait for the next voice, and if you like the voice, let's say you hear the demo and it's in the ballpark, and that's really what casting directors are looking for, producers. Is this voice part of the project that I'm currently working on or one coming up? If it's in the ballpark, then they want to hear different versions of it. But because of the traditional player format, it makes you wait, and that's frustrating. And so what do? They go on to the next talent because they just don't have time waiting. And really, it's so simple because there's just little segments of where the clips end and begin. So what VoiceZam does is it takes that linear list and stacks it like iTunes. So now you're clicking down each read and listen. And what you've done by using VoiceZam as a talent is you put the control and interactivity back into the producer's hands where it should be. Now they can peruse your demo. They can go wherever they want. They can listen to different types of demos in the player. And it becomes more of an interactive experience rather than a one-way, here it is, I made it. It's only a minute, and there's 7 clips, and that's what you get. Try to find them. This puts it back in their hands where they have interactive engagement with it.
So, I mean, do you list them by name of clip?
In fact, I'm going to share my screen.
Okay.
And so let's share the screen, and we'll pop over to VoiceZam and take a quick look at that.
All right. And there it is.
Yeah, there it was. Let me go back here.
Go back. Boing.
So here's the VoiceZam website.
Go full screen on that way. We need every last inch of real estate we can get.
I think,
just maximize there.
How's that?
There you go.
Does that help a little bit?
It does.
So there we are. If you really want to learn the A and B of what VoiceZam does for the industry, you can listen to this. And did I hear that Chris Mezzalesta is in the audience?
Well, he was the first caller we had 100.
Okay, gotcha. Ago. Well, this was voiced by Chris, and it's a great video to give you a kind of 1,000-foot view of what VoiceZam is. But here's Mara Juno, and Mara has several demos. She has promo, TV, narration, commercial, and character.
And we love Mara, by the way.
I'm about to help design her studio.
And I'm sorry if I'm saying Mara or Mara. I've heard it both ways.
Mara Juno.
If I've offended you, Mara, I apologize truly. So here we have her reads. Now, as you know, her traditional demo, these used to be listed one after another as a single line player. And so what happens when the producer encounters this player?
Rich, creamy, silky, smooth divinity. Indulge in the sinfully sensual.
We are an international network of soothe your baby's irritation from diaper rash with pure natural ingredients like essential oils of tea tree and lavender and kiss.
And then they move on.
Bob, don't try to talk while it's playing. We can't hear you at all. Okay?
Okay. Thank you. So here I'm playing each read. And what I was saying was you might jump back, you might jump forward, you might listen to the whole thing, or you might download it. And when you click read, it downloads the particular track. Or you can click demo, and it downloads it as the traditional demo.
Rich, cream.
And so here it is in one clip after another. So it basically, the technical term is concatenates all the reads into a single MP3. And then the other interesting thing about this is these reads, what's the typical length of time they tell you for a demo, traditional demo?
Should be a minute.
Should be a minute. Who decided that?
Because that's 45 seconds longer than most people's attention span.
Exactly. It's actually, yeah, you're right. So most people hang around at the max 20, and we watch the stats on this. With VoiceZam, we're breaking the 1 minute barrier every day. And let me explain why. I didn't want to get into this too much tonight, but I'll do it anyway. We have a way that producers now will stay longer because they can. It's an enjoyable experience. They're looking for voices. And you have to remember, producers want to find voices. That's what they do. It's become a real drudgery process because of the demo's format. And look what's happened. Instead of looking at the demo and saying, what's wrong with the demo? Why is it not working? We've attacked the demo and said, make it shorter and shorter and shorter because people's attention spans won't last that long. Instead of looking at the real problem, the real side of the equation, which is the player. And so what we've done is we've redesigned the player to make it a much more pleasant experience for producers to go through your demo. And so one more point, and then I guess we can move on. And that is each one of these reads could be any length you want. Now, I mean, within reason, they should probably be maybe 30 seconds, 20 seconds at the absolute max. But think about it. Let's say I'm on this read, and let's say this read alone was 1 minute. It lasted 60 seconds. Meaning if all of these were 10 seconds and she had, 9, the demo would be over 2 minutes long. But because they have the ability to click on this read, and if they don't like the first few seconds, jump over it, that's okay if it's 60 seconds. But if they like this read, and this works out great in long form, they can just keep listening and listening and listening and listening and listen again if they want. So it really doesn't matter anymore how long the actual sum total of the demo is. And what we're seeing in the Zamtistics is people start at the top and they just hit next and next and next, and they get all the way down to the bottom read. And then maybe they'll cross-sell, or the player cross-sells them to another one of your demos.
Let's get this out.
So that's kind of the long and short of how the player is an interactive engagement between the producer and your voice. Makes it a much easier experience. Much.
I'd say. Well, yeah. Go ahead.
Just the last thing is, and I'll talk about the 3 steps of how you get hired as a talent from a producer standpoint. And the last step is they want to contact you. So here we have Mara or Mara's contact info, and we show all her representations. So she's with Big Fish and Voice Talent, and then we even have her direct link if she chooses to put that on there as well, and her social media. So that's what I was trying to design when I came up with this. First of all, I wanted to make it look like it could fit in your hand. And by the way, we're coming up with the app very soon for iOS to start and then Android next. But I wanted it to look like it fits in your hand, and I wanted it to look like a little gizmo that you could use versus just this long line where the cursor is going across, because it should be a fun, interactive experience while these folks are finding your voice.
Bob, you're gesturing with your hands, but we don't see you until you turn off your screen.
Gotcha. Thank you.
Sure.
I wish I could show both.
Oh, I know. I can make the window bigger, but you'd just be a teeny square.
That's okay.
Okay.
Maybe that helps. Do you see me now? Can you see me now?
No, I have you cropped out. It's easier if you just, I'll tell you what, I'll play around with it on this end.
Okay.
Continue as you were.
So that is the long and short of VoiceZam. There's much more to it. There's different features like Zamtistic. So everything I was doing on Mara's player here is fed back to her as Zamtistic. So you can see who's clicking on what, when. And there's a few other things, and we're coming out with some great features within the next 3 or 4 months. So look forward to that. I can't tell you what they are because they're pretty cool, but we're going to start sneaking some of that stuff out real soon. So that's basic VoiceZam. If you want, I'll go into our latest feature, and that's called Straight Shot.
Yeah, well, let's talk a little bit about Straight Shot.
Okay. So let me get my PowerPoint fired up here. How does that look?
That's great.
Okay. Straight Shot. Here it is. So it looks like a line. It goes all the way here and lands on this bullseye. There's a reason for that. New from VoiceZam. You can learn about it on voicezam.com.
It goes right to, there we go.
Exactly. It goes to the bullseye, which is what we wanted to do. Straight Shot is a 24/7 marketing tool that works with every email you send. And so I'm going to show you first how it works and how simple it is. Then we're going to talk about why it works the way it is and the power that's behind it. It's not readily apparent at first. Some things that are elegant don't seem exactly valuable at first, but when you get the picture, the full picture, you'll see how valuable it is and how powerful. So I'm going to go to, this is my fictitious Joey Speakeasy website, and this is done in Weebly. If you're familiar with Weebly, it's a pretty good program. I created this site in 60 seconds with VoiceZam, so I like it. So we've got some buttons here, and if I click on audiobook,
this is from They Could Be Our Mother.
By the way, this is our great Bob Sowers voice coming through loud and clear. He's giving me permission to use his reads. Excuse me, I might be losing my voice in my voiceover stuff. So here we have a website. What we want to do is we want to send out, we want to get people to our website. That's one thing we want to do. But not only that, we need to get them to hear our voices. Okay? So let's look at Straight Shot. Here's the Straight Shot page in VoiceZam. All right? It looks very overwhelming. It's not. You basically have your demos here that you want to push out to your clients. You have a tracking code, and I'm going to put in, Bob123. And what's going to happen is, when people click on, when this is sent out, they're going to click on my player and Bob123 is going to come back. So if you're target marketing someone, you can see what they clicked on. This is my website that gets filled in for me. And the rest is if you have some HTML changes. But really, I can just default to this page and click this link. And it goes over to my website.
It's shiny.
And plays my commercial demo. Well, let's take it further. So what I want to do is set up a button bar. And a button bar is a way, I'm going to take this button, drag it down here. That'll be my commercial button. I'll drag audiobook next. And then narration. And finally, documentary output here. Okay? Now, here's my button bar, and you can send this out as separate buttons in an email. So let's do that. I'm going to select the button bar. I'm going to hit Control-C and put it in my clipboard. Going to go to my email. And down in the body, I'll say, click these, or click to hear these.
Send it to me.
Demos. Okay.
Send it to ewabshop@gmail.com.
What is it?
Send it to ewabshop@gmail. Did you catch that?
No, I did not. Can you send it to me?
EWABS.
Okay, start over. Sorry, guys.
Go for it, George.
I'll send it to myself first. Sorry about that. And then I'll send it to you later. VoiceZam@gmail.com. That's what I'm using.
That's how we did it in rehearsal.
Somebody could pop that in my text window. I'll do it. Okay, so I'm going to send this out. And where did it go? Well, it went right back to me in my inbox. So now I'm a producer. I got this email for whatever reason. It didn't have to be for any reason at all. When I open it, the body of the email would be above here. This is or maybe you just want to send out a few demos. So this is their email. And now at the bottom or the top, wherever you want to feature these, you see these buttons. And the cool thing about this, I'm going to talk about this a little more. They self-target you. So let's say I'm doing narration type projects. I click on narration. It takes me to my website and plays narration. So what just happened? In one click, this is why it's called Straight Shot. In one click, I got from their email to my website, to my player, to my voices playing that demo.
Wow.
Anthony Gettig said, "Hey guys, I got to tell you, I've had many people comment on the VoiceZam buttons in my email signature. People click them."
They do. I watch the Zamtistics and I see eSig, which is email signature all the time. So that's it. Okay, so that was my demo right there. We created a straight shot. We put an email. Oh, one thing else I want to demonstrate.
That's cool. That's cool.
All right, so I'm going to go back to my email.
What if someone's from the Stone Age and they don't view HTML in their email? Will they just see like links?
I've never tried that. Okay. I'd be happy to try it. It probably is links because it's links behind.
Sure.
I'm going to turn on my signature. And so now let's compose. There's my signature. Did you send me your...
just type these letters. Follow along.
Okay, follow along.
WABS.
You forgot the E.
Starting again with our show's website. EWABS. HOP.
HOP?
EWABshop @gmail.com.
@gmail.com.
Yeah.
All right. Sorry about that.
That's okay. We're just poking.
Hi, guys. Here you go.
All right.
People are going to be able to see what I get on my end. So I'm going to open it up.
So there you go. Fired it off to you.
Awesome.
In the meantime, what I'm going to show folks is what happens when you create a signature. So here's my signature. And now I can say, here, Dan, blah, 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 sincerely. And look at what have I done to set that up? It's always there. And let me get into the philosophy behind this and how it came about. Okay. Sorry, I'm jumping around here.
Sorry.
The first thing is that emails are persistent. They're saved, they're forwarded, they're replied to, they just last. Unless somebody deletes them, they're always around. Even you might go back and try to find somebody, and there they are. So those buttons are persistent as well. They're always around, and you can't predict where they'll end up, who may see them, how many times they're read, and when. Because let's say you send it out to, I don't know, somebody in the industry, maybe a producer, maybe an assistant, maybe a production person, and they see the buttons, they go, hey, this person's an audiobook, I'm going to forward it on to them or reply to this person. So now you've done one thing. You've sent an email, and you really, after setting up Straight Shot, you've done nothing else. You're just sending emails. From that point on, all these emails are floating around being a marketing tool for you. And it's likely that they're traveling within the industry in some way, within our within our ethosphere or whatever of voiceovers. So some producer is going to see those buttons and they're going to look at them and click on them. And why do they do that? Because we're delivering a message. And why not? Why are they doing that? I'm jumping ahead of myself. They do that because these are self-targeting buttons. If I'm doing promo work and I see the word promo that looks like a button, it's my job to find promo people, and I'm going to click on it. If I'm working on a promo project at that time, if I'm working on a narration project or some type of corporate, I'll click on that. So I recommend putting all your buttons in there. It's not offensive. It's not going to jump out and grab anybody. It's really reactive to what they do. So somebody's going to trigger on one of those industry words, click on it, and they'll hear your voice. And you'll see it coming up in one of my slides. My mantra is the more you're heard, the more you're hired. And it's a numbers game. I mean, marketing now has returned back to the talent. You know, the days of sitting with your pager waiting for that call to come in for your audition to take place, it's not happening as much anymore. And you really have to take marketing in your own hands. What I wanted to do after watching the Zamtistics and seeing how people were using their player, I wanted to create an easy tool that people could plop in an email and it would just work for them on a daily basis, 24/7.
And here's the email now. I'm going to switch to a shot of my screen here. So here's the email as I receive it. There's the links, and this is what it would do when I click on commercial. I think I should have the sound up. Flash plugin message, which is goofy because I have Flash.
Maybe that's the problem with the internet tonight.
You got a Flash problem?
I'm on Google Chrome, which certainly has Flash on it, but I loaded something earlier and it gave me the same message. So, you know, it's the internet, it's Chrome, it's unpredictable. But it took me right to the player and it queued up the player and started the player right at the top. So it's
there you go.
There. Just Flash is being a pain in the neck, which is, you know, is HTML5 in the future?
HTML5 in the future of VoiceZam?
Yeah.
It's always been in the future. We're using a library, though, that should fall back onto HTML5 if Flash is not present.
Okay.
I'm going to work with you offline on that. That's something we might not have seen with you would probably have the latest. Well, I won't get into it. We'll get into it a little later.
Yeah, Chrome updates itself almost daily. So
okay.
It's a totally moving target. So
well, maybe they did something to us that we're not detecting at this point.
Yeah,
so
but the links totally work. They go right to the demo unless as it's supposed to.
And you can see it very clearly on
the interesting is I'm using Chrome too, so it's working on my machine. So I'm not sure what's going on there.
Yeah.
Anyway, so I call it little marketing missiles that you drop in your emails.
Mm-hmm.
And on some folks, I've even said, you know, if you're bold enough, put them right up front. I mean, you're a voiceover talent. That's what you do. I think it's okay to not push, but get yourself out there and say, this is what I do. So in some cases, I would say even lead with those buttons. I don't think people will take umbrage of it or be offended by it. It's all, up to you how you like to market yourself. So they're there. Cool. And then let's see. So let's look at the producers world. They're constantly casting new projects. Their main focus is to find talent for their present project. I'm a producer or a producer's assistant. I have several projects, maybe one main one that I'm working on. When these emails come by, it's maybe likely that one of those buttons is going to match my project and it'll trigger something. So keep that in mind. And producers do want to find new talent. There's a producer's pitfall, I call it, and I ran into it with somebody when I was at an ad agency. The person kept going back to the same talent, and they did it cross client boundaries, and it was problematic because we were getting audio ID out there for a commercial work of the same voice talent, and the clients were not liking that. So it's hard to find talent. It's hard to find talent quickly for the project, and this just gives you a better chance of being there and showing up at the time when they need you.
Fascinating. That's great. All right, we've got a lot of questions from our audience, and we also want to talk about the WordPress plugin that you're going to be bringing out pretty soon. But first, we have to talk about something else, and then we'll get back to that, because we got to talk about our good friend Harlan Hogan and VoiceOver Essentials. And if you want the best stuff for VoiceOver, you don't have to look far. We tell you what the best stuff is. Harlan has it. That's the most important thing you've got to think about when you need a new microphone, or if you need some odd little piece of voiceover gear that you normally wouldn't think of, like the ABS, the automatic boom stop. I don't know why I obsess about that one, but it does work. So
it's just
your
one of
microphone
those really
doesn't
simple,
fall over on you.
Yeah, it's one of those simple devices that doesn't cost a lot of money that fixes a big problem.
That's right. Or everybody's favorite for when they're on the road, the Portabooth, both the Portabooth Pro and the Portabooth Plus and the Portabooth traditional one. But the Pro and the Plus are really, really fine things to have, good things to have on the road. Instead of a pillow fort, you get to carry it, all of your stuff with you, and you have your little acoustic booth with you at the same time. So it's a great little thing to have, and you can get them at voiceoveressentials.com. Prices are great. Customer service is fabulous. He guarantees his stuff. He ships it out to you. You get it. You go, this is fantastic. Thank you, Harlan. And that life is good for everybody. And so that's why you need to go over to voiceoveressentials.com, because he has everything you need for your voiceover business from a technical point of view, along with a few books that will also talk about how you can make more money in voiceover.
Yeah, he's got helpful books as well. So it's a great one-stop shop, great resource, and his customer service is a really good reason to shop there. And if you do shop there, please tell him that we sent you.
Please tell him we sent you.
Yeah, man.
Anyway, thanks, Harlan. That's 150 episodes he's been with us. He gets 2 clicks for that. All righty. All right, back with Bob Merkel from VoiceZam. Now, we got, as we said, we have a bunch of questions from our audience, but you wanted to talk about a WordPress plugin that you're going to be introducing soon.
We do. It's in beta. It's available for download. Write me at bob.merkel at voicezam.com if you'd like a copy of it. And we're pretty proud of it. It's very, very simple to drop VoiceZam players into your pages, and would love to get some feedback on it. It will probably go live or go gold somewhere at the end of August.
Excellent. Now, can you customize the player to fit the color scheme of your website and stuff?
Yeah, not within the plugin, but you can do that through a CSS file and then load that into your VoiceZam account.
Outstanding.
So you can see Mara's was customized. If I can get this is custom. Same thing with Corvo. He has a great custom player. Go to his site quickly. I'm assuming you can still see my screen.
Yep,
we can.
After you're done this, turn off your screen so we can see your shining face again.
Okay.
Yeah, that sure looks like Corvo's website.
Mm-hmm. Color scheming, matches, and everything. It's all about branding.
That's right.
Okay, I'll turn off my screen now.
Okay.
Stop share.
Perfect.
Oh no! Oh no!
Hi, everybody.
All right, let's go to our vaunted audience's questions, starting with the real Amy Fisher. Any feedback from agents, casting directors, testimonials from them?
That's a great question. I don't get that feedback. What I see, Amy, is the Zamtistics coming back. So I do see that people are staying past the 1 minute mark and those types of things. I would contact someone that you know is using VoiceZam and hear what they have to say.
All righty. Bill Russell. Didn't he play for the Sixers? All right. He wants to know, what's your background? How did you get into this?
My background is theater and communications. That didn't pay, so I ended up in software engineering, and then took a left turn into advertising for a few years. And that's when I thought up this product. It was frustrating finding voices for the writers, and I was a creative myself. And then I left that, went back into engineering, did a prototype, and the rest is history.
Wow! So you made it from the point of view of someone that would want to use this tool.
Yeah, it was born out of frustration.
Well, necessity, the mother of invention.
Exactly.
Absolutely. All righty. Our vaunted producer. Why am I using the word vaunted tonight? I'm not exactly sure. Since the internet is doing kind of funny things, I figured I'd throw it.
Did it show up in your Word of the Day app on your phone?
It might have been. Might have been that. All right. Anyway, Catherine Curridon asks, can VoiceZam, now you highlight it, now I can't.
Oh, sorry.
Can VoiceZam be put on Facebook and LinkedIn?
It can be put on a Facebook business page. And Catherine, if you write me, I'll show you how we do that. We haven't spent a lot of time on that because we haven't got a call, but I do have an actual Facebook page, business page with VoiceZam loaded on it.
All right. Well, that makes it easy. All right. You take the next one, George.
Sure. Amy Sorenzi says, in terms of analytics and tracking code, will Zamtistics allow you to know who clicked on the demo links?
Who clicked on the demo links? I won't share my screen. You saw the player.
Yeah.
It'll show you. Yes, it'll show you everything, Amy. So it'll show you the starting time when they clicked, and then the starting time of the next click and the next click. So you kind of get a duration on that. It'll show you when they downloaded a demo, when they downloaded a read, when they switched to a new demo, and when they clicked on different reads for the different demo. So you get quite amount of information.
Is that based on an IP address? What do you see about the person?
Exactly. It's based on an IP address.
Right.
And
Yes.
many times, and I'll be honest, unless it's a domain big enough like DDBO Chicago or some of the main 4-star agencies, you don't really see the company or the person, and that's why we give you the tracking code. So the scenario would be, let's say you want to contact an agent and send them your demo. All right. So set up a tracking code, Amy123. You send it out. Whatever that person clicked on, that's a specific link you give them. Whatever they clicked on, you see Amy123 on those clicks, so you can tie it back to the person. And we have a lot of people that track their tracking codes, and then they can know who clicked on what exactly.
Oh, okay.
All right.
We do have a revised version of Zamtistics coming out. It's we've revamped it quite a bit, and I'm not going to say anything more.
Certain things have to be proprietary until the release.
It's really cool, though, you guys. I just wish I could show it, but not yet.
Well, it'll be a reason to have you back in a little while. Nancy Halpin, she says, can VoiceZam be used on Wix and Weebly sites?
The site you were looking at, it was Nancy, is a Weebly site. And we do have a Wix site, too, although I won't show it to you because you'd rather see me, right? But yes, Wix, Weebly, most of the, and there's a lot of them, of the website builder sites work with VoiceZam, as long as they can do scripting. We just need to do scripting, that's it. JavaScript.
All righty.
I think that's the last one, unless another one pops in at the last minute. But yes, thank you.
Yeah.
Thanks for going through those questions.
Yeah.
No problem.
Well, I'm pretty impressed. You sold me on this because as I'm rebuilding my website, it's time for me to get this in there, and I think everybody else should probably do that. What's the pricing on VoiceZam, and how do you set up an account with that?
I was just going to show you that. Let me share my screen.
Outstanding.
Yay.
Pricing on Zamtistics is $2. Can you see my screen? $2.95 per month. It's an add-on feature. It adds on to the standard VoiceZam pricing, VoiceZam Premium of $8.95. So that's what Straight Shot gives you.
Well,
before we leave, but wait, there's more. I have an EWABS promo code set up. And all you need to do is go to our membership page. So click on, go to voicezam.com, and I'll take you there right now. And so go to the membership tab, enter EWABS. And there you go, $5 credit after your first payment. We'll give you that back for everybody.
Outstanding.
Awesome, man. Thank you very much.
We appreciate
You're
that.
very welcome. It was my pleasure.
Our audience appreciates that too.
Yeah, thank you.
All right. Well, Bob, thanks for being with us tonight. It was great having you on again, and I'm thrilled to watch this thing develop. And it's come a long way since last year. And how many people do you have on it right now?
It has. It's been a lot of fun. I'm sorry, we don't give out those numbers at this time. Maybe later in the future.
Okay.
But here's the main thing about that: we are listening to our clients, and we're getting a lot of good feedback about what's working, what's not working. And so a lot of the developments you'll see coming in the next few months are based on actual requests from folks, and a few other things that I throw in because I think they're cool. So look for those.
Outstanding. Well, thanks for joining us tonight, and good luck with this. And I can't wait to, for the plug-in to come along and whatever you come up with next, because it's obviously working for people in the voiceover business. And we appreciate you coming on tonight.
Thank you so much. See you on VoiceZam.
All right, and we'll see you soon somewhere where we always run into each other. All right, Bob Merkel joining us from Milwaukee, the home of the Brewers. Actually, going to a Brewers game once that I almost remember. Anyway, we've got more coming up, some announcements, and we can wrap things up here on East West Audio Body Shop. So don't go away. We still got a little bit more. We'll be right back. So stay where you are. VoiceOver Extra, the voiceover industry's online news, education, and resource center 24/7. Hundreds, probably thousands of free how-to articles for voiceover success, ranging from home studio to voice acting to business. A free voiceover industry directory, calendar of industry events, resource links, a store, and much more. Bi-monthly webinars on all topics of voiceover, free subscriptions to newsletters, reports, announcements, daily news, and features at voiceoverextra.com.
You know it's true. The best way to learn something, anything, is to completely live it, to breathe it, to experience it, to immerse yourself totally in it. Welcome to VoiceOver Immersion, only at Voice 2014. The VoiceOver International Creative Experience. The Voice Convention is 3 days of complete and total immersion in the craft and the business of voiceover. Voice is all about education, technology, and community. At the Voice Convention, you'll have an opportunity to meet and network with some of the top voiceover professionals and coaches from around the world. There are more than 30 programs and special events scheduled with coaches from the United States, Canada, Germany, the United Kingdom, Argentina, and more. Are you struggling with your auditions? Do you perhaps have some challenges with your equipment? Well, Voice is where you will get your questions answered. Every major niche of voiceover is covered. Audiobooks, promo, commercials, corporate narration, and a lot more. Ask anyone who's been to a Voice convention and they'll tell you it's a fire hose of information. It's a life-changing and a career-changing experience. There's no other voiceover event like it.
If you haven't been here, you need to come. It has far exceeded my expectations.
I have learned so much from the presenters at this event.
Whether you're a working pro or just getting started, it doesn't matter. Because at Voice, you can get the tools you need to take your voiceover work not just to the next level, but to a level you've never dreamed of. The VoiceOver International Creative Experience, VoiceOver Immersion. Only at Voice 2014, August 27th through the 30th in Anaheim, California. And please join us in welcoming our premier sponsor, Edge Studio. The VoiceOver International Creative Experience. So what are you waiting for? You know you want to be there. Register today at voice2014.com. Voice 2014, making your voiceover work better than ever.
And we're back here on East West Audio Body Shop. Can't believe I never talk like that. Do you know anybody on the radio that ever talk like that?
Yeah, sometimes you gotta listen, tune in tonight. You gotta be there. Coming up next.
Yeah,
top of the hour.
Yeah, my thing was more like joy FM 96. All music, all the time.
All sirens, all the time.
Oh, what the heck is that sound? Okay, anyway. Okay, let's see. We can get into some announcements here. Of course, we want to thank our donors.
Oh, yeah, but wait a minute. We gotta give props to.
Oh.
Just sit back and relax. It's time for some announcements.
All right. First, we want to thank our donors. J.S. Gilbert, Eric Aragoni, and a bunch of people who apparently still are trying to give $10 a month and are giving $1 a month.
Hey, we'll take it any way you get it.
We'll take it any way we get it because it helps make this show happen. You think we just come on here Monday night, hey, let's just do a show. There's other people involved. There's a lot that goes on with this. So make sure that if you want to help us, there's a little donate button right above George's head. I think it's above George's head. There it is, right there. Right above where it says show player, it says donate. You can donate right there, and that will help us defer the cost of this and make our wives happy, along with a bunch of other people.
Right.
Let's see. So let's see. Do we have any other donors? Let's see. Jacket. Yeah, they're all. They know who they are. But we like to thank them. It still says congratulations to Rebecca Davis, who won the Don LaFontaine Spirit Award. Now that's like 2 weeks old, but because it's Rebecca Davis, who I like a whole lot, I'm mentioning it again.
Yeah.
All righty. Let's see here. Clickers.
Are we still
got
selling?
A few clickers. We still have a few clickers. I still have a bunch in a box here, and I send them out at the end of the month. So if you're still waiting for yours, it will come. We've sent out about 50 of these things so far. So there's clicking going on just about everywhere. $5, and you can buy those on the homepage here too. I love how you set this up. They can do anything they want.
I tried to make it easy, man. One landing page to rule them all.
That takes you everywhere you need to go. All right. Let's see. EWABS Essentials. Tim McKean has been working on those, and it's a I guess is a sub channel on our YouTube channel.
Yeah, and just like a playlist on there you can find on our YouTube channel.
That's right.
At youtube.com/EWABS show. EWABS show, one word.
EWABS show. Mm-hmm. All right, so go on over there. It's short little tidbits of EWABS stuff, not, the hour and a half program that we usually, even though we only plan on an hour.
If you don't have the time, some of you are saying I'm catching up on EWABS shows.
If you're at episode 79.
Yeah. If you want a shortcut.
Help.
Yeah. Maybe check these out.
Yeah. Amy Fisher, thank you for your donation. We're looking at the tote board right now.
JS Gilbert just came in. Thanks, JS.
Let's see here. Anyway, so go over there at EWABS Essentials. Nice short little tidbits from our guests, some of our stuff, tips of the week, and women's worlds, and all sorts of cool stuff. If you want to find one little tidbit of information, that's where to go for that.
A new sustaining donation came in from Brian Roush a few days ago. Thanks, Brian.
Thank you, Brian. We really appreciate that. Let's see. What else we got going on?
Demo
next
Derby.
week. Next week, we have the Demo Derby with Cliff and Uncle Roy. That ought to be interesting. We are not going to critique people's style, voice acting style on these demos. Strictly technical.
Yeah.
What is the problem with these demos? Now, some of these might be from producers we know.
Yeah.
We won't say who
we're
they
be
are.
Anonymous. We're not, you may recognize a voice, but you probably won't know who the producers are because we won't tell you. It's just that we want this to be very constructive, and we want people to know what, from a few guys that actually really know what they're talking about.
Absolutely.
Roy and Cliff, what is working in demos and what isn't. So if you're not sure about your demo and you want to hear something that you might compare with what you're doing, or something that you feel like yours is totally missing the boat on, this would be a great show to tune into.
That's right.
And do you think we should have people submit demos too? Like maybe we can have people submit them to listen during the critique hour?
Absolutely. So if you're gutsy enough to do that, and we know there's plenty of you out there, send in your demos. Perhaps we need to throw the specimen cup in there too. Or maybe have them send them directly to ewabshop@gmail.com.
Yeah, if you have a demo you want to share, if you would like to have your demo critiqued, then send it to that email address. That would be the best.
Technical critique only.
Technical critique. A technical critique.
All right. Let's see here. On July 28th, the following week, Rudy Gaskin's going to be joining us, talking about the voiceover awards show.
Voice acting awards.
Yeah. Voice acting awards. Ought to be interesting.
I know.
A lot of buzz about that.
Yeah,
We'll talk to Rudy exactly about what it's about and how they're doing it and how can we win?
Yeah. Is there a category on voiceover technology
shows? Yes.
Yes.
Best voiceover in which case Corvo would win.
Well, I know for a fact that anybody can nominate any person, and I think anybody can nominate a category too. So
wow.
Well, we'll find out more.
It's going to be a very, very long.
I think it's timely because July 28th is when the show's on, and I think the cutoff for nominating categories is July 31st.
Oh, perfect.
Yeah, so there'll be 3 days for people to get it together.
Yeah, so join us on July 28th. August 4th, we're not going to be here because I'm going to be pretty much in transit out to Southern California, and it's going to be tough to try and get a show together for that. But George and I will be together the following week, where our guest supposedly is going to be. No, Dave's not going to be on.
I don't know. None other than hopefully David Courvoisier.
Dave Courvoisier, who, by the way, has a new book coming out, and we wanted to talk about it. Dave's one of our favorite people, and he never gets to watch the show live because he has his other job.
He's like some other show
that is seen some by Las Vegas station.
A few thousand more people than ours.
Right. Yeah, lots more thousand. Far more important news. But he's going to take the time and join us on sometime in August, probably the August 11th show. But George and I will be together for that one. We're not sure where we're going to do that one from. Probably from your office.
Yeah, probably. And then the 18th, is that during Voice Conference?
No, Voice Conference isn't until the end of the month.
Okay, so the 25th will be the live one, or it's one that we're going to tape at the Voice Conference.
Might be the week before after that. Might be the first week of September that one airs.
It's all blur.
It's all a blur because it's summer and we're taking it easy.
We are.
You can
I know.
Probably tell by the loosey-goosiness of the show this
I've been
week.
more laid back lately. It's been nice to have a little bit of downtime. I welcome it.
Yeah. Me, I'm painting an apartment.
Oh, nice.
That's what I've been doing for the last week. So, I own a building. We're trying to sell it. And it's like, got to make it look good. White paint makes everything look good.
That's right. And let me thank my dad before we go.
Yes.
For the angular clock that my dad sent me. Check this thing out. It's from, if you want to get one yourself, plug here just because it's so cool, wickeddevice.com. This is a clock that uses VU meters to tell the time, hours, minutes, and seconds.
Wow.
And you assemble it yourself. Anybody could build this thing. I'm telling you, if you can use a screwdriver, you can make it. It's very simple. But I just thought it was the coolest audio geek clock I've ever seen. And my dad saw me share it on Facebook and he sent it to me. Thanks, Dad.
And the alarm sounds like a cat.
Yeah, I know. It's got a cat alarm. No, I'm going to hold it up long enough so you can see the second hand, because that's the coolest part. When the second hand reaches the end of the box in 15 seconds, it jumps all the way back across to the beginning and starts over again. It's kind of nifty.
We have to wait to watch that happen then.
Waiting with bated breath. Did you see it?
Boing!
Boing! Jumps across. So anyway, there's my angular clock. Thanks for that, Dad. Very cool stuff.
Yeah. Hey, your dad's a cool guy. And a trombone player? Or
trumpet player. And
trumpet player.
Baritone player. Anything with valves and a mouthpiece. My dad can play it, probably.
All righty. Well.
And I am not cool. I am hot because it is hot in this room. I got to open the windows and cool down.
I got my ceiling fan going here because it's
been
pretty sticky here. All right. Well, we'd like to thank, of course, our sponsors, Harlan Hogan at VoiceOver Essentials, John Florian at VoiceOver Extra, and, of course, Edge Studio, which I believe is a
make the bandwidth for Ustream happen every week.
That's right. Absolutely. Because we need it.
It's pricey.
Yeah, because we apparently go over our numbers, our man hours, our viewer hours on Ustream. So if you want to avoid the commercials, help us out.
Yeah.
Please like us on Facebook. Follow us on Twitter. You tell them about the Twitter thing. I still don't get Twitter.
Oh, you better. It's at EWABS_show is the Twitter channel. It's not much going on there. It's just, another way to find out what's going on, when the show's going to be on. It's one way to avoid. If you're a Twitter person, then you can never miss a show.
Right.
And
especially in like Tuesday morning, if you missed the show, you're going to get a Twitter saying, just click this. And
exactly. And then, of course, the YouTube channel we already mentioned, youtube.com/EWABS show. And please do like the videos so that people know that they're good and they should watch them too.
That's right. Go to youtube.com EWABS show with 2 S's.
Mm-hmm.
And finally, we need to thank our wives who, without them, without them, we'd probably still be doing the show. But
the show would probably be 3 hours long. So thanks to our wives
for at least letting us get on for this long.
Exactly.
Of course, our producer, Kathy Curran, and Anthony Getting for another fabulous job in the chat room. Take a bow, Anthony. Jack DeGolia for all the work he does on the fabulous show notes. Everything that we talked about is in detail on the show notes.
Yeah.
And where do they find that?
The show notes are in the YouTube channel as a comment. He posts them in the Facebook in our group. I mean, if you're a watcher of the show, you probably aren't going to miss the show notes, but you'll usually find them in the comments for the YouTube channel.
Right. And Tim McKean for his great job on the EWABS Essentials. Go watch those. And, of course, Lee Penny, who has been taking care of our podcast for those of you who just want to listen to us in your car.
In your car, yeah.
In your car. Anyway, well, that's going to do it for us this particular week. A little shorter than usual, which is okay. Seeing as last summer we decided this was only going to be an
hour and 21 is shorter than normal.
Yes, it's shorter than normal.
Oh man,
we tried to keep it to an hour. It just could not happen.
Yeah.
So we appreciate it. We appreciate you joining us tonight and joining us every week here on East West Audio Body Shop. And enjoy us next week and enjoy this wonderful summer weather, unless, of course, you're in South America for the celebrating the World Cup. In the meantime, it's time to say goodnight. Have a great week. I'm Dan Leonard in the East.
And I'm George Whittam in the West.
And together we are East West Audio Body Shop. Take care, everyone.
Cheers.
Stay cool.